Good morning, everyone. You can
Good
hear me?
morning.
If you are,
Good morning.
you can hear me. We'll just wait a few minutes to let people start joining and try to start right on time.
Very good.
Knock these last.
Hey. Oh, Dr. Loftus, you're a little quiet.
Does this sound any better?
That's perfect. Great. Thanks.
Thank you for letting me know. So yes, we'll start as soon as we get all the rest of the contingent in and start on to the awards.
Jeff and I talked about it. We haven't.
Good morning, Restricted Research Subcommittee. It is 9 o'clock. And I was gonna go ahead and start doing the roll call now. So therefore, if some do start to drop into the meeting, I can come back and confirm that they're present. Angelo State.
This is Katie Plum at Angelo State.
Good morning. Lamar.
This is Candace Moore with Lamar University. Good morning.
Good morning. Midwestern State.
Good morning. This is Kathy Zuckweiler at Midwestern State.
Good morning. Prairie View A&M.
Good morning. This is Kimberly Cooks, Prairie View A&M University.
Good morning. Sam Houston State. Stephen F. Austin State.
Good morning, Leslie Cecil with Jennifer Pattinson here.
Good morning. Saul Ross. Carlton.
Good morning, it's Betty Wood and Nellie DeCiccio joining for Thomas State.
Good morning. Texas A&M International. Texas A&M Galveston, which I believe will not be present today. Correct. Texas A&M Central Texas.
Walt Murphy, A&M Central Texas. Good morning.
Good morning. Texas A&M Commerce. Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Texas A&M Kingsville.
Good morning. This is Diana Luna for Texas A&M University in Kingsville, and with me is Cynthia Villarreal Garcia, Director of Post-Award.
Good morning. Texas A&M San Antonio. Texas A&M Texarkana. Texas Southern University. Texas State University.
Texas State University is here, Mike Blanda, and possibly Dr. Amy Roundtree. I'm not sure if she's on this morning.
Good morning.
I'm here.
Oh, good morning. Good morning. Texas Tech University.
Good morning. This is Amy Cook for Texas Tech University, and I'll also have Qui Romo on with me today.
Good morning. Texas Women's University.
Good morning. This is Holly Hanson Thomas from Texas Women's University.
Good morning. University of Texas at Arlington.
Good morning, Sarah Panapinto, UT Arlington.
Good morning. University of Texas at Dallas.
Good morning, Emily Lacey from UT Dallas.
Good morning. University of Texas at El Paso. I think they're not going to be in because she finished. All right. University of Texas at San Antonio. Once again, I'm extending my sincere appreciation to UTSA for providing Veronica Stoller to sit with us so that we can host the meeting once again. She did double duty, so I'm giving double appreciation this morning. University of Texas at Tyler.
Good morning, Carla Reichert for UT Tyler, and I have with me Dr. Quita Mokhtari.
Good morning. University of Texas Permian Basin.
Good morning, Tim Pierce with UTPB.
Good morning. UTRGV.
Good morning, Mari Perez, and on the line is Dr. Thomas Pincher as well.
Good morning. University of Houston.
Good morning. Happy Monday. Chris Milligan, University of Houston.
Good morning. University of Houston Clear Lake. Okay. University of Houston Downtown.
Good morning, Brandy Smith Irving, UHD.
Good morning. University of Houston Victoria.
Angela Hartman, University of Houston, Victoria. Good morning.
Good morning. University of North Texas.
Good morning. This is Emily Losi with UNT.
Good morning. University of North Texas at Dallas.
Good morning, Alicia Brose with the University of North Texas at Dallas.
Good morning. West Texas A&M University.
Good morning, Teresa Clemens with WTAMU.
Good morning. All right, let's go back. Sam Houston. Saul Ross. Texas A&M International. Texas A&M Commerce. Texas A&M Corpus Christi, which I believe is not gonna be here. Or Texas A&M San Antonio. Texas A&M Texarkana. Texas Southern University. University of Texas El Paso is going to be absent. University of Houston Clear Lake. And I believe that's it. Well, all right. Good morning, everyone. And we're going to go right back to the list that we had before. Just housekeeping. Remember that keep yourself muted unless you're going to speak. And please say your name and your institution when you start to make a statement or a comment or express a concern. If you have someone that's with you who is your support person, please, they should have their video and audio feed disabled until they are called upon by the main point of contact for the institution. If you have not changed your name, you can right click on your name to rename it to have your first name, last name, and institutional acronym. I believe that is it for now. And we're going to go through as we're going through the agenda, we are now on, we have number 6, because we did a little moving around to try to accommodate people's schedules last week. So we're on number 6, which is the consideration of the possible action to approve restricted research awards less than $250,000. We already did 7 for the University of Texas at San Antonio. We did those early last week to accommodate schedules. And 8, we will do that one, the University of Houston, Victoria. And then 9 is adjournment. I'm going to we talked about the SAMs earlier, and I have spoke with our general counsel, and I just want to bring up to you the consequences of just making a subcommittee as opposed to looking at the SAMs. It's up to the committee, but we'll just talk about it before we leave and adjourn. See how we want to handle it. All right. So if I recall correctly, University of North Texas tabled they had 3 awards last week that they tabled to bring forward to this meeting on Monday. We're not going to go to them first because I promised is UT Arlington, correct? It was UT Arlington. I think I promised them I would address theirs right at the beginning. They have a large list. I think for a lot of it, once we get to University of Texas at Arlington, will be pretty much completed. We go through the rest, but there's not as many entries that are questioned. And then we'll from there go back to University of North Texas and go straight down the list. That's my plan for the 250s. And then we will go to the University of Houston Victorias. You will receive some additional information based that they had their abstract and their budget for each one, and we'll allow them to defend their awards at that time. Any questions before we get started? Once again, thank you all for coming back. Thank you. We have one more. Good morning, University of Texas, El Paso.
Arlington?
Oh no, I'm coming to you, Arlington. You're the first one I'm addressing, but I think we just got a new entry into the meeting.
Thank you, sorry.
Daniel Lopez, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
Can you
University of Texas El Paso. All right, thank you. All righty. University of Texas Arlington. 100828 and 100833. those will be considered restricted research based on our agreement with consensus. More than 12 would be a majority. We have another one coming in too. So then the first one that we're going to consider that UTA will defend will be 100839 Tracy Greer, UTA.
Yes, sir. So this is an award from NIH to UT Southwestern, which is a UL1, which to my understanding is a cooperative agreement version of a U54. It's the Center for Translational Medicine at UT Southwestern. And Tracy Greer is the principal investigator for the UTA subcontract and a co-investigator for the Center for Translational Medicine. She serves as the co-lead of Core G with Dr. David Karp, and she works with him to facilitate the completion of overall core deliverables. She leads the Trial Innovation Resource, which aims to facilitate and liaise investigators served by the CTSA with the resources they need to develop and implement clinical translational research projects. The budget that we have for our subcontract is pretty much all of Dr. Greer's time to work on the research of the research center. Any questions on that one?
Any questions for UTA? Hearing none. We're gonna go with the same process we did last week. Does anyone believe that this is not restricted research? Hearing and seeing none. 100839 will be considered restricted research. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get a little closer. Does that sound better? Okay. All right. 10841 and 100849, 100853 were all considered restricted research by consensus. 10868 was withdrawn. 100883, 100896, and 100908 were considered restricted research by consensus. 100933 was withdrawn, and 100935 and 100966 were considered restricted research by consensus. Next is 100981, Maria Casio, UTA.
That had more than half. Oh, accepted. Sorry, I didn't pull anything on that one, because I saw that the 11 was bigger than the 10 and I thought we were okay. Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, it was 12 for the thing. Do you want to, so you don't have any information on that one?
I don't have any additional information on that one, but if we can go through the rest of them, I'll try and gather some real quick for you.
I will come back. One zero zero nine 82, Dan Kavanaugh. UTA.
Sorry, I did the same thing again. I looked at the two first columns and saw that it was 11 and kind of kept going on my way. Let me get some more information on those two. Yeah.
All right. So 100983. David
Okay,
Keller.
that one I do have information on. That is a gift that came in through our kinesiology department. It's an RJE Scholars Fund Award for Dr. Gabriella Wilson. The proposed community engagement with a COVID-19 health literacy collection and curriculum project addresses two overarching goals: to accelerate health literacy by supplying an easy-to-use interface for educational health information about COVID-19 topics for pre-K to 12 grade level students. And she's developing a community partnership model of outreach to Latinx youth, coordinating response and recovery activities in areas where individuals have barriers to resources such as internet access and language obstacles. So she's
questions.
Go ahead, sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that she's developing an interface for educational information about COVID-19 and developing a community partnership model.
Does this have an IRB?
That I don't know. I can find out.
And is there some hypothesis underlying the development process, or is this primarily community implementation?
It's developing a new model to communicate information about COVID-19 to the Latinx population.
Are they somehow assessing the efficacy of the communication? I think that's kind of where we would need to be for it to be a research question, right? I mean, so a hypothetical research question would be, what are the necessary elements to have an impactful community statement regarding blank, right? And then have they interface like you're describing, and then have some kind of assessment in terms of, are more people likely to sign up, more people not likely to sign, some kind of data. There's got to be some kind of data collection, it seems.
Yeah, so their objective 1, increase access to COVID-19 and COVID-19 vaccine information. Let's see, objective 2, objective 3. Assess the impact of the project is the 4th objective of the project. They're establishing measurable key performance indicators for the project. They're surveying the participants and reporting on the survey results. They're investigating social media activity generated by the project.
That's good for me,
analytics.
Sarah. That's good enough for me. Yeah. I mean, I don't
Thank
know
you.
about the rest of the committee, but we'll see.
I would argue that that's more program evaluation than theory-driven research.
They're evaluating the efficacy and impacts of the program and the training, the vaccine training that they're doing. And they're going to disseminate project results and activity and publish papers and present at meetings.
Yeah, I think we need to, start thinking more about these community-based projects. There's some around these vaccinations, there's some around, food insecurity, there's some around education. So, we're seeing more and more of those. So I'm still okay with research on this, but we'll see.
I think, though, that it's important to differentiate between research and program evaluation. Having an IRB doesn't necessarily make it research. Publishing or presenting doesn't necessarily make it research. It can all be folded under that program evaluation. And frankly, every grant, I hate to say this, but every real grant is going to require some program evaluation, because the sponsor is going to want to know if the funds that they provided were used to achieve the aims of the project. That doesn't necessarily make it research. If we roll back to the federal definition of research, it's a systematic inquiry designed to contribute to generalizable knowledge. So there's usually there's a priori hypotheses, there's a thought process, a theory, a concept base that's driving the development of the research questions that then drives the methodology. And then the results are presented in whether we confirmed it or overturn these hypotheses. And I to Walt's question last week, there is certainly science of discovery. There's also pedagogical research, applied research, but even that basic research is certainly driven by theory, but so is pedagogical and applied. And I see a real tendency in this series of meetings to confuse program evaluation with true research. And frankly, if we're going to count program evaluation, then every grant we get for everything, throw it on the list, call it good. We don't have to spend 9 hours in these meetings.
Okay, hearing no other comments in response.
Well, I guess, just kind of, in the way of a rebuttal, I think that there's some research that needs to be done to frame these community intervention programs in order to make them effective. So, obviously we've seen that you can't just go out into the community and say, everyone should get a vaccine. There is some research that needs to be done to see what plays to the population that you're looking to, do an intervention with. So, kind of back to Mike's point, I don't think that we can just disregard all community intervention projects and say they're not research just because they're, helping people.
Yeah, and I'd also, I understand the program evaluation. We did discussion, we've had that in the past, but I mean, to me, it's kind of really difficult to decouple the program evaluation from the efficacy of the program and the methodology. I mean, these things are proposed as competitive proposals, right? I mean, who was the funding agency on this one, Sarah?
Let's see. It's coming through as the Kinesiology RJE Scholars Fund. Let me see, I got the proposal right here.
But again, competitive proposal does not necessarily make it research. And I'm not saying that there's not, efficacy is certainly a piece of that. I mean, but I don't think evaluating the program efficacy is the defining factor for research, because it can be, I mean, name a grant. The funder's going to want to know if what you did achieved their objectives, right? Because the funder, if they're going to set up a grant program, they have something that they're trying to achieve. They have an area of interest, whether it's community-based or purely academic, there's something the funder's trying to achieve or trying to advance by creating that grant opportunity. As a part of that, there's a feedback loop. They're going to want to know if what you did helped advance their objectives or their goals or their mission or their vision or whatever it is they're trying to do. That unto itself does not necessarily involve research. The funder can be dictating the priorities. The funder can be dictating, even to some extent, how this gets done. And it may not be super specific, but there may be certain ways that the funder wants this done. They want this done in a community setting with a particular population, or they want this focused on pre-K through 12. Those are predetermined funder priorities that are going to then have an impact on how that program evaluation is set up. And I'm not saying I'm not trying to say that all community projects are not research. I'm not trying to say that all program evaluation is not research. I think, though, to assume that all program evaluation is research is problematic.
So the sponsor on this one, the sponsor on this one is the Association of Public and Land Grant Universities, and it's through their RJE Scholar opportunity.
All right, I have some questions. Chris Milligan.
Thank you. I've got to agree with Kathy on this, and this is an area that UH struggles with, especially after COVID and the explosion of community health type research opportunities that have gone on. For me personally, within the division of research, I look at each and every single program, and I struggle with whether or not it should be included in the list. And if it can't meet my muster, then I can't present it because I don't like to fail. But that's neither here nor there. For me, it sometimes goes down to the details of it. And if we have a lot of programs here that do program evaluation, and the program evaluation is indeed the research. That's all this, a particular group does, is understanding the theories and understanding the hypothesis and tweaking said hypothesis and evaluate. That is their research, as opposed to what Kathy was speaking of, which dealt more with the what did I do and how did I, achieve my aims or my goals. With this, I don't see anything that sways me more one way than the other. And I think that that's what's concerning here. I think it can go in the direction of research, but I would need to see more in order to feel comfortable to say that. Thank you.
Katie Plum. You're on mute, Katie.
Just realized that. I'm sorry. I hate to ask for this, but I'm really not comfortable with most of these since there's no supporting documentation uploaded. And I know today's supposed to be the last day of our meeting, but given that Sarah is out of town, and I know she's already giving up some of her time here, her personal time. Can we look at coming back to this after they've uploaded some stuff? Because I don't feel like it's fair for us to vote on so little information and with nothing written in front of us.
I'm amenable to that. Is UTA amenable to that? Or is there other ones that you want to go through first that maybe have uploaded documentation that we can go through yours, or do you want us to come back?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if it's because I'm actually about to leave for the airport, so I'm kind of blocked for time here, but I can send you the proposal and the description of the program that I've received from the principal investigator, and then, you know, I guess y'all can just go ahead and vote without me.
Could we vote online?
This is an open records meeting, so no, it would have to go through the open records requirements. That's why we have to be in this type of situation for us to meet.
Can these be resubmitted next year since they aren't ready this year?
Based on what we have as guidance on our website for those, the ones that we have for next year are awards that would be submitted after the process is concluded and wasn't able to get on there during that fiscal year. Then we would consider them for the next year. So I'm not sure that these would follow that guidance that we've already provided.
I understand that. However, we're under the same guidelines to prepare documents and upload them prior to this meeting.
If she were to withdraw it, would that not allow her to resubmit next year? I mean, to me, it's almost as if I asked for the information. It did not come in time for the meeting, so I have to withdraw it because I can't defend it. But if I get it subsequent to the meeting.
Right. So what would happen is if you put it in next year, we could do expenditures off of it next year after we considered it restricted research. Then they would be counted. So I don't see a problem with withdrawing it and then bringing it back.
Okay, I'll withdraw it then.
Does that go for all three of those?
Probably best. Please, thank you.
Okay, so I have 10098, 10092, and 10093 withdrawn. 100,998, Clay Clark. Are you prepared to?
Yes.
Send that one?
Yes, that's
Okay.
that one I am. Okay, so this is a gift fund set up for our Echo Lab, and they're used to, I confirmed with the chair of the department and the principal investigator that more than 50% of the funds are used to conduct reptile and amphibian surveys across the state of Texas to understand how the environment controls community structure and diversity. This is a gift.
Any questions for UTA? Hearing and seeing none. Does anyone believe that this is not restricted research? Hearing and seeing no objection. 100,988 is considered restricted research. Next one is 101,002. Alan Klein, UTA.
And this is through our Institute for Urban Studies. They are going to prepare a master parks, recreation, and open space plan with a focus on improving the structure, layout, and comprehensiveness of Gunter Park system to better meet the needs of the current and future residents. They wish to promote health and fitness opportunities for its residents with its parks, recreation, and trail systems. The center is going to evaluate and plan a parks, recreation, and trail system to accommodate the expected growth over the next decades and maintain or improve residents' quality of life. The budget for this project is all for a graduate research assistant and fringe benefits. and then travel and M&O, a small part of travel and M&O to get back and forth, and for the necessary supplies.
Any questions for UTA? Hearing and seeing none, does anyone believe that this is not restricted research? Hearing and seeing no objection. 101002 is considered restricted research. 101004, Rodney Reddick.
This is one of our TMAC projects that we've evaluated, as we do most of the ones in our through our TMAC program, and we have considered it to be research. That's how we came up with the naming system, that we do the TMAC program income determined to be research per UTA policy. I think we talked about this last year and the year before, and the year before that. It involves the analysis of company processes, unique industry attributes, and best practice determinations in the company-specific design and implementation of a customized HR system. A one-size-fits-all HR management system solution would not require the involvement of TMAC, is what the principal investigator responded with.
Any questions for UTA?
Well, I'm sorry, I have my thumbs up. It's actually my hand up. So Sarah, you said it was program income, and UTA has restricted the use of program income to support research. Is that the argument?
For the TMAC program. So we've gone over TMAC program, I think, every year.
Many times. Yeah. So TMAC itself is not the issue.
Right. So this is one of what, as part of what TMAC does, is they go out and engage small and medium-sized manufacturers in the community, and figures out the different projects that need to be done to be able to facilitate that manufacturing enterprise. So we've internally kind of worked out a system with y'all over the years where there's certain projects that are should be considered research, and then others that are not. So we have two different program income accounts set up for TMAC, where we put the ones that are considered to be research in one, and if they are not considered to be research, then we put them in a separate project.
So these are fees or some sort of revenue that the members have paid to TMAC, and then those revenues are what is supporting the research. Is that
they contract with TMAC, and they pay us not less than what they would have if they weren't using TMAC to do this research for their company.
Okay. Yeah, that's what we've discussed in the past.
Any other questions for UTA? Hearing and seeing none, does anyone believe this is not restricted research? Hearing and seeing no objection. 101004 is considered restricted research. 101006, Rodney Reddick again, UTA.
Same. It's another one of the TMAC projects. And this one, instead of involving HR system, it involves the QMS system.
Any questions for UTA? Hearing and seeing none, does anyone believe this is not restricted research? Hearing and seeing no objection. 101006 is considered restricted research. 101011, Jeremy A. Forsberg, UTA.
Okay, so that's someone said that it looked like internal funding, and I'm confirming that it is not internal funding. It is external funding by the Huron Consulting Group. Jeremy, who I think most everybody knows, is working with Lisa Mosley out of Yale and David No from NYU, and they're aiming to develop an integrated internal control framework for compliance to under UG requirements for subawards in an effort to reduce administrative burden. There's an opportunity to explore the appropriate use of fixed amount subcontracts to partnering institutions, both domestic and foreign. This is kind of the second project that they're working on after they fixed our effort certification problems. Any questions on this one?
All right, no questions, hearing and seeing none. Anyone believe this is not restricted research? Hearing and seeing no objection, 101011 is considered restricted research. 101012, Rodney Reddick, UTA.
This is again a TMAC program income project that has been reviewed and determined to be research. It is again a QMS project that includes an upgrade, particularly in consideration of industry-specific and company-specific operational changes and changes in operating environment generally. Analysis of company-specific processes were required and led to the design and implementation of a customized upgrade to the system.
Any questions for UTA? Oh, I'm sorry. I should have waited. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was asking if there was any questions too. That's what I've got for that one.
Okay. Okay, good. I did wait the right time. Right
You
amount of
did.
time.
You were
Any
perfect.
questions for UTA? All right, hearing and seeing none. Does anyone believe this is not restricted research? Hearing and seeing no objection, 101012 is considered restricted research. 101046, Alan Klein, UTA.
This is another one through our Institute for Urban Studies. The plan will seek to validate the city's mission and vision, evaluate existing assets and vulnerabilities, identify critical challenges and opportunities, and develop clear and measurable goals and action plans to address them. They are going to use a collaborative process to achieve consensus, community vision, and buy-in on needed actions and responsibilities for achieving key strategic aims, validate the mission and vision statements in current environment, identify long-term objectives and identify and assign short-term steps to achieve prioritized objectives, and produce living planning documents summarizing planning process and laying out prioritized action steps to direct city efforts and promote accountability. Similar to the last project through IUS, the budget on this one is almost completely for graduate research assistant salary and fringe, and a little bit of travel and M&O.
Any questions for UTA? Hearing and seeing none. Does anyone believe this is not restricted research? Seeing no objection. 101046 is considered restricted research. Next one is 101056, Hong Wang, UTA.
This one is, sorry, I just changed documents. I checked with Dr. Wong, who is the chair of our computer science and engineering department, and he said this fund is used for a research project participated by undergraduate students as CSE's ongoing effort to increase research experience for undergraduate students, REU. Leveraging funds like this and other CSE has sponsored 6 REU projects in FY 2022. So 100% of this gift fund is being used for research.
This is Chris Milligan, was from the University of Houston. Were these funds restricted to research? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that before.
They were not restricted to research by the donor, but were more than 50% are being used for research. They were restricted to the computer science engineering department, and the CSE chair is using them for research. And I'm sorry, I don't have the SAM in front of me. I forget what number that is.
Did you say you wanted me to repeat the number? Is that what you said?
No, I'm sorry. There's a SAM, one of those SAM 1 dot something dot something. Sorry.
1.2.2 is what you had listed.
Thank you. More than 50%.
This is Kathy Zuckweiler from Midwestern State. I'm trying to remember discussion in previous years. But do we require that the donor, in an instance like this, where it is a donor fund, have we required that the donor restrict the use of the funds for research? I honestly don't remember, so I'm asking the question.
It's an either or, Kathy. So it's either 1.2.1, which is that the donor has restricted it for research, or 1.2.2, which has two parameters. The first of which is that the donor has restricted it, not necessarily for research, but then more than half the earnings must be budgeted for research through the institutional accounting process.
Thanks, Katie.
Any other questions for UTA? Hearing and seeing none, does anyone believe this is not restricted research? Hearing and seeing no objection, 101056 is considered restricted research. 101057, Rodney Reddick, UTA.
That's another one of our TMAC programs, or program income projects. Can you read me the number again? I'm sorry.
Sure, 101057, Rodney Reddick.
Okay, so this one, the question that came up on this one was they weren't sure whether or not the program income should be considered an external sponsor. And so I addressed that with the fact that the program income is from different manufacturers, different small contracts. So, and this is again, one of the projects, TMAC program income project that we've discussed previously.
Any questions for UTA? Hearing and seeing none. Does anyone believe this is not restricted research? Hearing and seeing no objection. 101057 is considered restricted research. 101060, Rodney Reddick, UTA.
And this one was on there for 0 because we had tried to change the designation internally from research to programming or to public service. So, but we didn't unaward it. So sorry, that's why it's on there as 0. So we'd like to withdraw that one.
You want to withdraw that one? Is that what you said?
Yeah, that one's public service.
Okay. 101060 is withdrawn. Well, apart from the 3 withdrawn ones, that is it for UTA.
Excellent. Thank you very much all for your time and attention. And I'm sorry to cut out early. Thank you for allowing me to.
Hope you have good travels.
Thank you.
Now we're going back up to the list. University of North Texas, you had 3 that were tabled. First one is 99301, University of North Texas.
Yeah, this is Matt Bethay with the University of North Texas. Doing a little bit more research on this fund. Even though the professor is doing using the grants for research and for graduate research assistance, we felt it was more service. So we would like to withdraw 99301 and 99354.
Duly noted, 99301 and 99354 have been withdrawn. Next one, 99371, UNT.
99371. So this is a research gift to Dr. Chang Yu for his use in the structural testing lab. We put it's unrestricted, but is restricted to Dr. Yu's research. He is using this fund for more than 50% of his research. His research focuses on thin-walled, cold-formed steel structures. It's research and development, computational mechanics, earthquake engineering, structural dynamics and control, structural stability, building information modeling and construction technology. Any questions?
Any questions for UNT? Seeing and hearing none. Does anyone believe this is not restricted research? Hearing, seeing no objection. 99371 is considered restricted research. And that will take care of UNT. Thank you, UNT.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
As we go down the list, the next one on the list to consider would be Prairie View A&M University. 99875, Ali Fairs, PVAMU.
Good morning. This is Kimberly Cooks from Prairie View A&M University. The purpose of this research is to answer questions on how to fight climate change through agricultural practices. This research is answering site-specific questions in the greater Houston area. Similar research will need to be replicated in other parts of Texas because the research cannot be generalized across the region because it must be site-specific. The USDA spent $1 billion to answer questions across the nation in demonstrated research with farmers to answer similar questions. 8 scientific papers were produced from this project. 4 of them were already presented and 4 were accepted and will be presented in 2 international meetings this November and December. The research team is currently finishing up writing these papers that will be published in high impact factor journals during the next few months. And that came from Dr. Ferris himself. And the SAMS number is 1.1.1.
Kimberly, this is Katie at Angelo State. All of it sounds definitely like research, so I wasn't concerned about that. But the funder, do you know if this was passed through AgriLife, like from USDA or from another funder? Because there are some restrictions on in-state funders in the SAMS. And so just wanted to verify that.
I am not sure, Katie, would you give me an opportunity to reach out to Dr. Ferris real quick?
Certainly. Yeah, just double checking because we decided a couple of years ago, for example, PUF funds couldn't be used. And so since the flagships can distribute those, we just want to make sure that that's an allowable fund source.
Can we table this and go to someone else to just give me an opportunity to reach out to Dr. Ferris for clarity on that?
I'm amenable to it. Is it all right with the committee to table and come back?
Yes.
Come back. All right, we will table that and come back to that reward. I've been reminded that I needed to acknowledge the ones that I had skipped over some of you acknowledge them and we'll continue on through the list. University of North Texas 99391, UTRGV 99495, Sam Houston's 99574, Texas State has already done theirs. Stephen F. Austin's 99839, and Prairie View's 99866, and 99873, and 99904 were all approved as restricted research based on our consensus agreement with the 12 votes. For Prairie View, 99867 was withdrawn. We were coming back to that one, the tabled award, and now we're going to Tarleton's has already been done. They're finished. We did those last one. Texas A&M University, Kingsville. The next one on the list, 99960, Hannagriff.
Yes, good morning. This is Diana Luna from A&M Kingsville. So this is this award is funded by the U.S. Department of Agriculture through NIFA, through the HSI Education Grants Program. So we are a sub-award through from the California State University, Fresno. So the goal is to utilize existing resources to create a transferable certificate pathway that unites high school, community colleges, and university development of the skills and career readiness training and through applied research methods that measure indicators of learning. So the PI plays an integral part of this planning, developing the project, collecting data and the matrix. And it does have an IRB. We did check with the prime. They are determining this as a research project. So we have selected section 1.3.1, which is sponsored instruction and training.
Any questions for Texas A&M Kingsville? Hearing and seeing none. Does anyone believe that this award is not restricted research? Hearing and seeing no objection, 99960 is considered restricted research.
Thank you.
For Texas A&M Kingsville, we had already done 100002. It was restricted research based on consensus. Texas Southern Universities 100027, 100031, and 100033 were considered restricted research based on consensus. Texas Tech University 100204 is restricted research based on consensus. Award number 100213, Rebecca Perez, Texas Tech.
Yes, this is Roma filling in for Amy Cook. So 100213, we missed, sorry, Amy's apologizes. She missed providing additional information on this one. Purpose of the project is to research the effects of Texas House Bill 5 on public education, more specifically to gain a more thorough understanding of the positive outcomes and the shortcomings of the implementations that can assist in becoming the focal point for future policy initiatives. Research outcomes prior to the passage of House Bill, as well as since will be reflected. House Bill 5 modified the high school graduation program for public school students with the goal of providing students with greater flexibility to pursue career interests through endorsements. The research questions include: how did institutions change student, staff, and organizational resources following the implementation of House Bill 5? How did House Bill 5 change high school, post-secondary, and career trajectories and outcomes for public school students? Do House Bill 5 cohort students exhibit better high school, post-secondary, and/or workforce outcomes? What proportion of Texas high school graduates are considered college ready prior to and after implementation of House Bill 5? For students entering post-secondary institutions, are college ready standards predictive of academic and/or non-academic success? The research questions will reflect outcomes prior to the passage of House Bill 5 and since its passage. There is an approved IRB. In addition to the final report, which will be publicly available, additional publication dissemination is expected. And that's what we have for 100213.
Thank you, Texas Tech. Any questions for Texas Tech? Hearing and seeing none. Does anyone believe that this award is not restricted research? Seeing no objection, 100213 is considered restricted research. 100236, 100251, 100285, 100292, and 100298 for Texas Tech were considered restricted research based on the consensus agreement. 100320, Jonathan McNaughton, Texas Tech.
Yes, for 100320. This project is through Texas Tech's Center for Research and Leadership and Education. and it is related to 100319 on this year's list. The purpose of this project is in support of the Texas After School Centers on Education. Specifically, TTU will assist in building the skills, knowledge, and abilities of center staff and stakeholders in implementing center-level evaluation activities. Participate fully in the development and planning of a center-level logic model and overall process and outcome evaluation. Participate fully in implementation of the evaluation plan and lead collection of data. Conduct on-site quality observations. Participate in action planning to improve operations and programming by identifying improvement needs and challenges, and conduct quantitative and qualitative, I'm sure I said that right, data analysis. The research question 1 would be, how satisfied are stakeholders with the after-school programs? Research question 2, do participants perceive that the after-school programs support their academic or personal growth? And that's what I have for 100320.
Thank you, Texas Tech. Any questions for Texas Tech on 100320? Hearing and seeing none, does anyone believe that 100320 is not restricted research? Seeing no objection, 100320 is considered restricted research. 100328, 100335, 100345, 100361, 100365, 100377, and 100381 for Texas Tech were all considered restricted research based on consensus, and that concludes Texas Tech's under 250. University of Houston, 100550. John, I think it's Tyson Chatagnier. Hope I didn't murder that as bad as I think I did.
And I hope I don't do as well, so I'm not going to try to attempt his name. This is an award through the NSF. This project investigates how the backgrounds of high-level advisors and administrative officials affects both foreign policy decisions and outcomes. In doing so, it contributes to the existing knowledge in 3 ways. First, it develops a theory regarding the effects of military service on advisors, allowing us to understand how this key background characteristic influences these individuals. Second, it produces a novel cross-national data set, providing service data on tens of thousands of cabinet and minister level officials in the post-World War II era. Third, it uses these data to isolate the effect of service and investigate heterogeneities in service with respect to foreign policies. This is an area that has largely been ignored within the existing literature. By utilizing novel data and techniques designed to isolate the effect of a service treatment, this project identifies the roles of military service and foreign policy. Anybody have any questions?
No questions. It sounds like a good project by Dr. Chatagnier.
Excellent.
Thank you, Dr. Blunt.
We know that from our chemistry teaching, all right, along the Le Chatagnier principle. So. Fun fact.
Well done. Any other questions for U of H? Hearing and seeing none. Does anyone believe that this is not restricted research? Hearing and seeing no objection, 100550 is considered restricted research. 100623, Christian Spitzmuller, UH.
The specific objectives of this proposed project are to assess and advance safety culture industry-wide for 20-member service companies, or 20-member companies of the NGA with a total of 40,000 survey participants. Evaluate strengths and weaknesses in current safety culture at the department, supervisor, and individual level. Determine individual employee and supervisory safety training needs and guide design and implementation of safety interventions. 3, identify antecedents and precursors of process and personal safety incidents, near misses, and safety management system outcomes. The objectives for the University of Houston CAPR project team are to conduct and publish research on drivers of employee safety, injuries, and accidents, and train doctoral students in survey design, project management, data analysis, and write-up of results for publishing purposes.
Any questions for UH? Hearing and seeing none. Does anyone believe this is not restricted research? Hearing and seeing no objection, 100623 is considered restricted research. 100624, Loanus
Pachyderus. This one I can do.
I was close. I was close. All right, all right. UH, go ahead.
The goals of this project will be to collect quantitative and qualitative data to ascertain COVID-19 sources of mistrust, misinformation, and vaccine hesitancy. Innovative computational techniques, i.e. argument mining, computational argumentation, optimization will be used to analyze quantitative data in English and in Spanish to inform COVID-19 messaging and resource allocation, deployment of mobile vaccine clinics.
Questions for UH?
See, I don't have a problem being research with this, but I think that's just a more definitive explanation to the one that we had earlier around the COVID messaging, the COVID vaccine messaging. So
I totally agree with you. And that's the struggle that I have.
Yeah,
This
I
one
mean,
for me, the
sure.
actual project itself may or may not have been researched, but the portion that we had was very clearly researched, and I had no problems, putting a check mark by it and saying, this is going to be, this will fly. But
Yeah.
I'm with you with the struggles though, because depending on, what it is that our institution is doing, some of them are I'm going to say are squishy.
No, absolutely, Chris. I mean, I think that's why they're all that's not all questionable, but I think that's what gets us to these questionable modes. My concern, and I'll express it as a concern, is, several years ago, we had the discussion, I believe, the discussion was how well or how eloquently the data was presented in these oral arguments. Now that we're doing it in this process, it's how well are the written arguments, right, presented. So, I think underlying all of this is the work, and the work on these messaging is how effective is the messaging so that the future communications for these programs can be crafted more effectively, and you need research to determine that.
Yeah.
So I'm backing all the way up, right? And we've done these in the past with HIV type, and then there'll be the next vaccination. So I find them as research. You happen to put some really good wording together, or you or someone there put some really good wording together.
That was the scope of work as was presented by the PI.
And that's great.
I mean,
That's great. That's great. Right? That's great. It's just in some cases, whoever develops that scope of work, whoever presents that just may not have the sequence or the consciousness awareness. So, they're research for me. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. Just like I didn't have a problem with the earlier one. So, I mean, I think that's where we fall between program evaluation and research. And I think they're all research. I've said it.
Any other questions for UH for this award? All right, hearing and seeing none. Does anyone believe this award is not restricted research? Hearing and seeing no objection. 100624 is considered restricted research. 100625, Clayton Neighbors, UH.
I can pronounce this one too. Clayton this is an NIH subaward from via the University of Nebraska. Clayton Neighbors will work with Katie Edwards and the research team from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln on the design and implementation of the study. Dr. Neighbors' efforts will focus largely on the refinement of intervention content related to alcohol, He will also provide direction in the selection and format of alcohol measures needed for intervention content and for evaluation of alcohol consumption and alcohol-related problems as outcomes. He will also work with the research team on the evaluation and dissemination of findings and manuscripts for publication and conference presentations.
Any questions for UH? Hearing and seeing none, does anyone believe this is not restricted research? Seeing no objection, 100-625 is considered restricted research. 100-628, Daniel Price, UH.
Thank you. It's a call to action and further advocacy for the community that provides it. The University of Houston Community Health Worker Initiative is part of the data analysis portion of research, which assists us in understanding how we can further implement results into effective health programs. Data collection is key for community health workers to be effective in implementing health programs, and their input during the analysis portion is important in order to inform us if we are meeting the needs of the community. Having community health workers as partners in the research process allows us to remain culturally competent and have direct access to the communities we work with. This allows us to put the research back into the community's hands where it belongs. This agreement is for the co-creation, implementation, and research around a shared initiative and community health education advocacy. The purpose of this work is to create, implement, and assess the effectiveness of 4 integrated components: a training for community health workers, community health worker instructors, certified health education specialists, and Lamaze certified professionals, which will be made available online. The key conceptual structure will come from the immunization partnership developed in collaboration with CHWI. Creating targeted vaccine advocacy within the existing care coordination activities of at least 20 CHWs embedded in local nonprofits working directly with underserved communities. The vaccine advocacy will be integrated into the process of goal setting, barrier and identification, and strategic problem solving. The CHWI will engage in feedback loop meetings with the CHWs to support implementation and ensure a nuanced understanding of the barriers faced. The CHWI will produce final reports about the efficacy of integration of the curriculum and associated advocacy trainings into the goals-based care coordination activities. Reports will include research on the interplay of the vaccine advocacy with the broader social determinants of health and health equity. Being a research-driven school that works with community health workers also gives us an opportunity for our students, many of whom are pre-health track, to work directly with the community members. This exposure allows them to better understand how health disparities affect individuals from underserved communities. This prepares them to be better advocates for their patients and to understand that diseases are multifactorial and can be affected by such things as environment, income level, education level, and where they live.
Chris, does this have an approved IRB protocol with it?
It does indeed.
And Chris, I heard a lot of implementation program evaluation. Can you talk a little bit more about the research component, if there are models or theories that are underlying the approach to this, or something that's driving how this is formulated?
Excellent. This is actually what this group does, and it is the data portion of this, of the analysis of how their research impacts the community. They look at various programs, not to do so much just program evaluation, but to see how you can take something from the grassroots perspective and roll it up to a more broad-based impact across the state as well as across the country. That's what this group does. It's not so much the how do we figure out how vaccines work, but how do we take that model and scale it up and to make it a US-wide or actually worldwide opportunity.
So they are generalizing it out then?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
They just use the individual projects as their seed base in order to test that. This is one of those squishy ones that you have to read it 17 times to make sure that it actually makes sense.
Well, and also keep in mind, just like research and development can apply to science and engineering, development can apply to other discipline type of research as well. So it's just, try to keep that in mind.
Any additional questions for UH? Hearing and seeing none. Does anyone believe this is not restricted research? Seeing no objection, 100-628 is considered restricted research. 100-630, William Sager, UH.
This is an NSF subaward via Columbia University. The Lamont Doherty Earth Observatory of Columbia University supports the participation of scientists based at U.S. institutions in the International Ocean Discovery Program through a cooperative agreement with the NSF for a U.S. science support program associated with IODP. The IODP is an international marine research drilling program involving over 20 nations committed to achieving goals outlined in the 10-year science plan, illuminating Earth's past, present, and future, the International Ocean Discovery Program Science Plan for 2013 to 2023. Selection as a science party member of an IODP expedition is a prestigious achievement that provides a scientist access to extensive research infrastructure. Scientists also have exclusive access to geological samples and data for 1 year after the end of the expedition in accordance with the IODP policy. And Dr. William Sager is a co-chief scientist, which bears the responsibility for the scientific success of the International Ocean Discovery Program expedition, which he will co-lead.
Any questions for UH? Hearing and seeing none, does anyone believe this is not restricted research? Hearing and seeing no objection, 100-630 is considered restricted research. 100-642.
The University of
Houston.
The University of Houston will collaborate with the Texas Office of Public Safety TOPS program to design training tools to enhance produce safety in Texas. To this end, we will collaborate with TOPS and A&M AgriLife on PSA trainings, collect data, conduct data analysis, and design and disseminate crucial training programs to stakeholders.
Any questions for UH? Hearing and seeing none, does anyone believe this is not restricted research? Hearing and seeing no objection, 100-642 is considered restricted research. 100-659, Colleen Carlson, UH.
The Texas Institute for Measurement, Evaluation, and Statistics will conduct the external evaluation for Project Pledge, professional learning for educators working with the Danielson Group to improve outcomes for English learners. As such, Times will be examining the effectiveness and impact of Pledge on participants, as well as and differential effectiveness in promoting effective instructional practices in the classroom and on student performance as a function of treatment condition. Times will receive data electronically from all planned collections and will be responsible for maintaining all data in a relational database that will facilitate the linking of data across data sources, the linking of data across levels, i.e. administrators to teachers, participants to schools, students to schools and teachers, etc., and the development of the standard reporting tools. In collaboration with the project partners, Times will also provide support and guidance on the development of the data collection instruments and will conduct analysis examining the psychometric properties of the developed instruments. Throughout the project, Times will also provide informational reports to partners to support and guide the refinement of project implementation. Times is responsible for all evaluation analysis and evaluation reports and will work collaboratively with partners to complete all progress reports. Times will also collaborate with partners in the dissemination of project findings via conferences and publication.
You guys have ongoing access beyond the period of performance with the data and the ability to publish freely without any prior approvals?
Yes. This is what this is all this group does. This is their research.
Any additional questions for UH? Hearing and seeing none. Does anyone believe this is not restricted research? Hearing and seeing no objection. 100659 is considered restricted research. 100661, Cullen College of Engineering.
This is an easy one. This is the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board trip approved match, number 2021-036.
Any questions for UH? Hearing and seeing none. Does anyone believe this is not restricted research? Seeing no objection, 100661 is considered restricted research. 100662, Alberto Rodriguez, UH.
Let's see, the mapping teachers' emotional literacy associated with STEM activities. The central research question this project seeks to explore or answer is, what strategies do teachers use to respond to vignettes of emotionally charged events during STEM activities? In what ways can responses to 4 measures, emotional expressivity, regulation, recognition, and teachers' beliefs, and responses from question 1 above to be used to construct a map of teacher emotional literacy? What insights can be gathered to inform teachers' emotional literacy development? Would you like me to continue? Excellent.
Okay. Any questions for UH? Hearing and seeing none. Does anyone believe this is not restricted research? Seeing no objection, 100662, considered restricted research.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. That will conclude the UH's awards that were questionable. All right, we've been sitting here for an hour and 15 minutes, 18 minutes. I'll say we give us a good little break here. How about we come back at 10:28? Just give you 10 minutes to come back, and then we will start promptly at that time. wait a minute. There we go. Hello, committee. Can you hear me? Okay, good, good. So we just finished with all the way down to that last one was University of Houston, University of Texas at Arlington. We have already concluded theirs, and we've gone through all of their awards. University of Texas at El Paso, we've already gone through theirs on Friday. University of Texas at Dallas, 101-465, 101-476, 101-487, 101-540, 101-576, and 101-578. Consider restricted research based on the consensus agreement. The University of Texas at San Antonio we've already gone through their awards last week. Texas A&M University Galveston, 101-952 was considered restricted research on consensus. 101-955 and 101-969. I received confirmation from University of Texas, or Texas A&M University at Galveston, that those two are withdrawn. They will be taken off the list, and that would conclude TAMU Galveston. University of Texas at Tyler, 102-000, 102-007, and 102-008 were considered restricted research based on consensus agreement. 102-009 has been withdrawn. Now we're at University of Houston downtown. 102-039, UHD.
Good morning, Brandy Smith Irving, University of Houston downtown. This one is also related to 102041. The PI will work along with the foundation and partnering institutions to design and analyze an experiment engaging college students in repeated experiences of public deliberation using digital technologies that mimic face-to-face interaction. The experiment will also include virtual forums with students on partner campuses. The study will address the following overarching research questions. How does deliberation represent a different concept of democracy and/or the role of the citizen in democratic politics from politics as usual? Why is deliberative democracy important to the civic mission of higher education? What challenges do we confront when we attempt to capitalize on borderless features of virtual deliberation amongst students? What are the best practices in adapting to the opportunities and challenges of virtual ecology of democratic practice in higher education? And there was also, there's also an IRB on this.
Any questions for UHD? Hearing and seeing none. Does anyone believe that this is not restricted research? Hearing and seeing no objection. 102039 is considered restricted research. For UHD, 102040, 102041, and 102044 were considered restricted research based on consensus agreement.
Okay.
Texas A&M University Corpus Christi, we already took care of theirs last week to help with the schedule. Texas A&M University Commerce, 102191 is considered restricted research based on consensus. 102193 and 102194 were withdrawn. 102195 and 102198 were considered restricted research based on consensus. 102202, 102204, 102206 were withdrawn by the institution, and 102207 was considered restricted research based on consensus. And according to my records, Prairie View A&M. We have tabled yours, 99875. Would you like to go ahead and address that now?
Yes, I also have Dr. Teresa Bailey, our Director of Office of Sponsor Program on the call, but I spoke with Dr. Ali Ferris himself, and he says that it's a pass-through from the USDA to AgriLife, and that Prairie View is a subcontractor regarding those funds.
Many thanks,
Any other
Kimberly.
questions? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I just said thank you for the verification.
Oh, I'm sorry. There you go. Any other questions for Prairie View? Seeing and hearing none. Does anyone believe this is not restricted research? Seeing and hearing no objection. 99875 is considered restricted research. All right, I believe that takes care of all of the under 250s. We are now going to the agenda. The agenda now, we are on number 7 was taken care of last week for University of Texas at San Antonio. Number 8, University of Houston, Victoria. You will receive 3 packets of information in the initial email. So we're going to start with artificial intelligence-based predictive modeling for detection and monitoring of groundwater contamination. UHV.
Good morning, University of Houston, Victoria. This is Angela Hartman. Actually, Dr. Lofters, this first one I should not have included in my additional documentation because it was on the list and it is pending. I guess it was approved via consensus. It wasn't marked as questionable. If you would like to confirm that, if not, I can review it.
Hold on just a second.
Thank you.
All right, so since it was not on the list, because it came in afterwards, it was not able to be considered
Okay.
as questions.
Okay. All right.
For
I see.
these 3 that you have, yeah, you just have to go ahead and.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
I thought I saw it on the list. Yes, this is a contract through the BSRA. It is groundwater, as you mentioned, it's artificial intelligence based on predictive modeling and detection of monitoring of groundwater contamination. We are working with 2 other national labs with this research, 2 other collaborators, and they are conducting groundwater samples and using predictive AI modeling and machine learning. They are running algorithms to identify groundwater contamination. We have a postdoc researcher working on this award, as well as an associate researcher, and 4 graduate researchers and 2 undergraduate researchers. Any questions?
Any questions for UHV? Hearing and seeing none. Does anyone believe this is not restricted research? Seeing no objection. Artificial intelligence based predictive modeling for detection and monitoring of groundwater contamination is considered restricted research.
Thank you.
Next one is UHV as well. HDR DSC, Data Science for Energy Transition.
This is a research, yes, this is a research training grant. It's a subaward from UH, thankfully. And it's from the NSF. Our PI is involved in all 4 goals. And one of our PIs is also assisting with the content of the summer training program and also instructing it.
And this was not challenged as a UH award as restricted research.
Thank you, Chris. That number is 100438.
Are you, Angela, are you classifying this under 1.3.2 then because it's research training?
Yes.
Any other questions for UHV? Hearing none. Does anyone believe this is not restricted research? Hearing no objection, HDR DSC is considered restricted research. Next one is University of Houston, Victoria, US Prep, UHV.
Yes, thank you. Again, another subaward. This subaward is from Texas Tech University. It's part of their US Prep education program. And it is also identified, or it's currently on the award list, as IM number 100036. And it falls in line with SAM 1.1.1, 1.1.3, and 1.1.4.
Angela, are you saying this was approved in a previous year?
It's approved this year. Actually, it's currently on the award list, similar to the one that we just discussed. It's on the
These were
region.
on, but they came in afterwards.
Yes.
But the approved one is for Texas Tech. That's what we're saying, that we're
Yes.
being asked to approve the UHV version of this or portion of this right now. Is that correct?
Yes, Kathy, thank you.
Yeah, because my question on it is what the research component for your institution is, because we have a US Prep as well, but Tech is really doing the research portion of it. All we're doing is program improvement on our end. So we aren't claiming it because we're not doing a separate IRB or anything else. Everything is, Tech
Okay.
is really the owner of the research on this.
We have our own separate IRB on this one. And we are conducting our own evaluation on the program and the research. I'll go into detail. Sorry, I have a copy of the. Yeah, we're evaluating the experiential knowledge and skills of the teacher candidates through practice-based coursework over the year, and rather than the traditional 70-day student teaching program.
So Angela, is the data then being passed back to the researchers at Tech, or is it being used by the researchers in Victoria on research questions, hypotheses?
It's my understanding that it's being passed back to Texas Tech. We are actually conducting the research.
Okay, I'm not trying to split hairs here, but you're collecting the data or
Yes.
you're conducting the research?
We're collecting the data for our program and then sharing that back to Texas Tech.
Thank you.
Any other questions for UHV? Seeing and hearing none, does anyone believe this is not restricted research? Seeing and hearing no objection. University of Houston, Victoria, US Prep. It's considered restricted research.
Thank you. I believe that concludes my presentation.
That is all for UHV. Thank you, UHV. Let me go back. Now that should be all. That is all. That is all of the awards that we need to review. There is one thing I wanted to bring up to you. Now the committee has agreed to form a subcommittee to look over the SAMs and then make recommendations to language revisions. And it was based, from what I understand from my notes, we wanted to address awards that were previously approved, indirect costs. The institutional identifier is off the portal. That's not really it. Service agreements and research work for hire, and in-kind non-monetary contributions. The thing I wanted you to consider is that if we put it in, I checked with our legal counsel. If we wanted to allow the subcommittee, which you can do, you can have a subcommittee to go ahead and meet to consider any kind of changes to go around those different areas. And if you have some others, we can put that down. However, in order for it to be approved, the committee would have to see it again. So I would have to go ahead and schedule another meeting. Probably be I would assume, I shouldn't say that because sometimes I'm wrong, but I would assume it'd be a very short meeting because we would just be looking over just the SAMs and just the revisions made. So I was gonna pose to you, have two options. Go ahead, go with that initial idea of forming the subcommittee, or do you want to stay and look at the language right now? And I'm open to consideration from the committee.
This is Chris Milligan from the University of Houston. As much as I would like to take care of this today, I think we have a good portion of our constituents who aren't here, who may want to have input in this. And so it would seem appropriate that we unfortunately have to have a separate meeting for this to ensure that every member of the committee has an opportunity to digest and comment. Just my thoughts.
This is Kathy Zeckweiler from Midwestern State. I agree with Chris. I would also caution that depending on what the subcommittee might bring forward as possible changes, it may or may not be a short meeting.
Yeah, I agree with that. And so one proposal would be for the subcommittee to do their work, send it to the entire group, allow the group to review, have some time, possibly even formulate some questions, and then proceed about scheduling a meeting. I'm not quite sure when, but we have the whole year to think about it.
Well, I'll work on that one. We already have first the subcommittee. I'll have to make I'm gonna try to get those quickly together so that we can get that work started. And then once we get the work from the committee, it'll take me 2 weeks to get from the time of their results to the time of actually scheduling a meeting. At least to put it in, at least that much time I need for my process at the coordinating board at the agency. So if that is the case, if we're in agreement, we will go ahead. I'll start the process to schedule the subcommittee meeting. We'll get the results from the subcommittee on these areas that they wanted to adjust. We'll provide it to you in a document that shows the actual changes, and then I will start a doodle poll and so forth to try to get us together for a restricted research meeting just to consider the changes to the SAMs.
Quick question, Dr. Lofters, on all of that. And I can't remember this from before, but will we also, within the timeline of everything else, need to plan for public posting in the Texas Register before any changes after our votes? Or is that not necessary because it's not a change to the Texas Administrative Code?
It's not really, the SAMs is not an administrative code. I think it's in statute, and I'll have to go back and check for that one. But as far as I know, this is something that the committee, based on statute, the committee makes recommendations to change this one. This is not a administrative code rule, as far as I understand. If there's something that I'm sure if I said something wrong, I will be notified. So I will definitely let you know ahead of time, but based on what I'm seeing, and I'm not a lawyer, but based on what I'm seeing, based on my experience with administrative code, this is not one that needs to go there, but I'll find out.
And I think no matter what we recommend, no matter what we recommend, legal is going to have to take a look at it anyway. So
I would have to surely show it to someone, yes, ma'am. So, I will start working on that subcommittee meeting, and I think that concludes our meeting. We're ready for adjournment. I want first, before we adjourn, thank you very much for your time. Once again, thank UTSA, Ms. Veronica Stoller for once again, sitting in our meeting, allow us to comply with the open records requirements, open meeting requirements. That being said, do I have a motion to adjourn?
so moved.
Who was that? So I can write it down.
Chris Milligan, University of Houston, with enthusiasm.
Second from TW if needed.
Do we have a second?
Second, TW.
Second, TWU.
Mm-hmm.
Holly, you need to throw in the
All
enthusiasm
in
part.
favor?
Oh, it's Monday. I'm enthusiastic.
All in favor? You all have motion carries. You all have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you. Bye,
Thanks very
everyone.
much.
Bye, everyone.